Good morning, everybody. The Snowpeaks event is on its way, and so I wanted to showcase some of the cool cosmetics and things that you can get. So if you weren't sure how to participate or what you can do and what you can get, you'll be able to see that right here. So the Snowpeaks event, the gist of it is as you play through quests, regular champions will turn into Snowpeaks champions. You can tell because they're entirely made of ice. They have a couple different powers, but they're not really very dangerous. However, once you kill them, you can get frozen keys. The frozen keys let you participate in some challenges, and this year there are two different kinds. There's the snow slide from last year, which many of you have probably seen before, and the new challenge called Too Cold to Climb, which is basically a lot like getting over it with Bennett Foddy. So it's a fun experience, but it can also be a challenging one. So what do you get from doing all of this? Well, you don't have to engage with it if you don't want to. You're going to get the keys as you play, so you can either just use the keys as you go, or you can trade them with other players by just like selling them on the auction house or what have you. But you can get some cool stuff, specifically a lot of cool cosmetics. This year, or just like last year, there's the actual Festival winter outfit, which you can get. The whole outfit being the robe here, as well as the cloak and the crown, as well as the Diadem of Frost, if you don't like that instead, kind of like a little white hollow crown here, like flame crown, which is kind of interesting. Additionally, there's not just this, there's a few other cosmetics, but there's also new cosmetic weapons. So if you like ice, well then you'll like the Ice Dragon's Tooth, which is a short sword that is made entirely of ice, or you'll like the Frozen Skull, a rapier that happens to feature on the front a actual skull here, right on the front of it, which is pretty neat. Then you also have the Sword of Snow, which is just like the Sword of Shadow, but made entirely of frost. And then finally, the Crystalline Frost Axe, which is just like the Magmatic Reaver, but it is entirely of ice and frost. These weapons are very cool. They're not super powerful. They're level 4 weapons, so you're generally going to want to use them for a mirror. However, they do have the minor freezing ice effect, which allows them to freeze enemies solid, which is insanely useful during the leveling process. However, that is mimicked by the augments you can get as well. So if you're not somebody who is interested in cosmetics, let me show you what else you can get that's actually might be useful for your character. To actually do the event, you're going to come see Flurry, who is standing here in the Hall of Heroes. And when I talk to Flurry here, you can either take the peaks, which is the slide that goes down. You can take the climb, which is the climb that goes up, and then the rewards that you have to offer. Important note, the slide is very easy to do. You basically don't have to do anything. You kind of just slide down the ramp and you get a bunch of coins. It's pretty fast, and it's a good way to spend your coins. The climb is much more challenging, and it also takes a little bit longer. However, the rewards is about 4 times the reward. So if you take the time to go through it and you're looting all the different chests, if you're good at it, it will be definitely worth your time. However, if keyboard and mouse is maybe not your strong suit, especially jumping in DDO, I would avoid the climb, but at least give it a shot one time, and I'll explain why in a little bit. So what can you get? Well, whenever you do these rewards, or you just loot the monsters as you're fighting against them, you're going to get these coins. There are bronze, silver, and gold coins. These are not the same as the festival coins. These are Snowpeaks coins, and they also aren't retired from year to year. So if you have a whole bunch of coins from this year, you can use them next year. And if you keep saving your coins, you can use them the year after, which is why I have like, oh, it's not actually pulling them from my bank, but I have a lot of coins. So I have many, and you can just keep banking them for a long time. You can trade them in for cookies or candy canes. The candy canes are still in the game. Some people thought they were removing them from Festival. They're still here. They're just in this event instead. The icy potions of jump are really nice if you don't want to go farm them out from White Plume Mountain. 1-minute haste potions are kind of convenient. The superior freeze is okay for a little bit of extra damage. Cold shield potions are great. These are very useful for any area where you just don't want to take extra damage from fire. So for example, maybe you're getting started in Too Hot to Handle, or maybe you just really struggle with the final boss fight of Enter the Kobold. Just a nice thing to have on hand. And a couple other like reasonably useful potions, fire resistance. You have the Frostbite, which gives you a special visual effect, which is kind of nice. And the Snow Elemental gem, which lets you summon a Snow Elemental. But those are some of the baseline consumables. What are the good things? Well, that's the augments. Festive Dexterity, a stacking bonus to Dexterity that you can only use one of, but still +2 Dex is +2 Dex. And Charisma. Fantastic augments. Any endgame build using either Dex or Charisma would use these, and I've bought at least 10 Charismas because, my god, you go through a lot of them. Then you've also got the Ruby of Snowpeaks, which is the freezing effect that you're going to find on these weapons here, this minor freezing ice, except this augment's level 4, it can go on anything. The DC is somewhere in the 30s on this, so you can basically throw this in any weapon you want, and it's going to work all through Heroics. It does not work in Epics, but all through Heroics, it's going to be amazing, and it definitely helps out the leveling process, because you freeze stuff way more often than you might think. Additionally, there's a cold iron augment right here, which is just convenient, so you don't have to try to get them out of the store or trade in tokens of the 12, which is really nice. A new to this year, Sapphire Snowpeak Speed. This is a striding augment, so 30% movement speed. Now, there's a lot of different ways to get striding and movement speed, but if you're like me and you kind of just like use random gear, this is actually great, and I bought one of these to put it in this Slave Lords piece that I have right here. 30% movement speed is really helpful if you don't have a Quiver of Alacrity or another way to get like fast movement speed, because this is the highest movement speed you can get in the entire game. So a nice augment to pick up. You also have the Ruby Eye of the Glacier. This is another new augment, and this gives you a chance to do an area effect burst of damage on hit whenever you attack with your weapon. It scales based on level, so it's basically 10 damage per weapon level. So since I put this here in my Nightforge Avenger Blade, which is not actually letting me examine it for some reason. It's a level 8 weapon, so it's doing about 80 damage when this goes off in an area of effect, which is pretty good at level 8. And then at level 30, or I guess at 29 with your level 29 weapon, it's not going to be as good. It's 290 damage. Not quite as impactful, but still, it's just a nice thing to have, and it's if you need something for a slot during the leveling process, awesome. Awesome during the leveling process. You can also get a craftable trinket, which is just great. If you want to do Caneth crafting, craftable trinkets can be gotten in other ways, but this means you don't have to go through the store or something else. It's really simple. As I said, there's the cosmetics here. And then there's also the snowman pet and the polar bear pet. If you haven't seen them, they're some of my favorite pets. I love them. The snowman pet is amazing, and I'll show it off in a little bit here. You have the different weapons, and then you have the trade downs. Now, snowman pet, I have right here, so you can see him. Delightful pet is one of my favorites, and he has a whole bunch of super fun tricks. The bear is okay. It's kind of cool, but the snowman's got amazing tricks. He's got his little fun dance, you know. He's got his melt trick, which is one of my favorites. I mean, it's a little morbid, but oh no, Mr. Snowman is gone because he's melting away. And then, of course, everyone loves when the snowman decides to do a little bit of juggling. Also, the recovery animations are great. It has a bunch of unique recovery animations when it's finished, and we have some juggling. Now, I mentioned before that you do actually want to try to do the jumping activity at least one time, and the reason is there's a special unique item that is going to be showing up there. If you are adept enough to sneak around, there's a house section, there's going to be a video playing here, that you sneak around and actually explore a little bit, you can find this item, the Immortal Sun Flask. This is a returning weapon that has Ghostbane, Flaming Blast, Good Blast, and Brilliance of the Shattered Sun, because this is a Sun Flask. It has a slow motion effect as it flies through the air, and it is an endgame Sun Flask, an endgame version of the Sun Flask consumable. As you know, I'm a big Sun Flask guy. I ran the event Sunfest back in 2020, where I made a character using only Sun Flasks, and I'm doing that again this year in 2022, and when the shirts and everything else and the festival gets started, I'll make sure to give announcements here so you can get in and get them while it's good. But I'm very excited because this item, it's a dart, so automatically it's not one of the best weapons in the game, but it's a very, very good dart. And I can't wait to see how powerful this can be. And as I said, you can find this one inside of the event Too Cold to Climb. So if you don't pick one up, you can't get one. So make sure if you want to get one, get in there and get it while it's good. Overall, the Snowpeaks event is fun and pretty much easy for everyone to take part in because it doesn't require you to do anything crazy. All you have to do is just play the game a little bit, pick up some keys, and then go run the events. And if you can't be bothered, always feel free to trade the keys for other consumables with players, either for the coins or the things directly. Everything is unbound, so you can sell it on the auction house if you want. So on the last day, feel free to just go ahead and trade in, you know, a bunch of coins or something, or try to sell a bunch of keys. Or if you are like me, stockpile these augments, and then when summer rolls around and people go, man, I really wish I bought more festive charisma. Oh, what's going to show up on the Astral Shard auction house for, I don't know, 40, 50 shards each? I'm just saying, it's a good idea. Invest in your future. Get yourself some good augments, either for yourself or for your bank account. And that's what we got. So enjoy the Snowpeaks event. I've really enjoyed it. I love the actual climbing. And I'm going to see if maybe somehow we can get a leaderboard started up. If so, I'll put an actual notification here on the channel if we do get a leaderboard started up for people that are trying to do the Too Cold to Climb event. Because it seems like it's a fun challenge to try to get through it as fast as possible. And so we'll be seeing if we can do that. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your entire day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. All right. Let's try this again. I can do this. This game's not that hard. Or it's very hard. It's one of those two things. Okay, so hello, Flurry. Good. I'm over here. Okay, so there's no way to make that jump in one. Shift to turn off feather falling? Yes. They added in this patch where if you press your blocking key while falling down, if you have feather falling, it'll turn it off. So that way you can always have a feather falling equipped and just choose your spell or your falling velocity. And this is very important because there are several quests where there's long falls and people will actively try to grief you by casting feather falling on you. So it adds minutes to the quest time. Because, for example, if you're doing, let's just say, Coalescent Chamber, you have to fall down the entire chamber. And so if you go from the top and then all of a sudden somebody casts feather falling on you, it literally takes like a minute and a half to fall to the bottom, which is just wasting your time. And it's somebody intentionally trying to waste your time. But now they can't do that anymore because you can just turn it off. Huge, huge, huge change. Or just sometimes you just want to fall straight down quickly. And so being able to just turn it off automatically means you can always just run feather falling now. It's just such a good change. Yeah, I just need to jump perfectly. That's the secret. Yeah, well, we can also make our own leaderboard. I said, there's places where we can make our own. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. All I have to do is just jump perfectly every time, and then I'll make it across all these platforms. Can I make it from here? Yeah, I can. Okay, good. It is really horrible on EU latency. Nah, you got this, man. You got this. Okay, so just how about this? Because there's a lot of latency that you might have to experience being a citizen of the EU, what you should consider doing is temporarily, for like a month, move to North America. And so you have less latency when you run this event. And then, once the event is over, then move back to, back to Europe. That seems like a good solution. It's a good interim solution. Yeah, just move to America, and then problem solved. Okay. Okay, we're doing okay here. Dash across this. Dashing across the crystals. Climbing up the ramps. I can just walk over to that. I should probably save my dash for this. Snowpeaks chest. And 242. Best time. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Perfect. 242.